Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree Buonomo. Hi if you're new here, or hey if you've been here before. It's been a minute. Oh my god. I feel like I don't even know how to film anymore because I just crashed and burned, I guess. I just had to take a step back and I was like, well, let me focus on TikTok and Instagram, like short form content. And goodness, it just like consumes me. Like it's so hard to keep up with social media when you have a full-time job. I don't know how people do this with full-time jobs and like find success. I give everybody credit. But now that I'm done ranting, hi, I'm here to tell you about a challenge that I decided to do with my friend Zilla. I will leave Zilla linked down below. If you're not following her, what are you doing? She's a fellow horror writer, so you should definitely do that. Me and Zilla are currently in the query trenches, and I believe it's our third time for both of us in the query trenches. We have had two other novels that have not made it out alive. So we're surviving and trying our best to move on, to continue to better ourselves instead of focusing on the emails we get and where we are at in our querying journey. So today I am here to tell you about our Q4 challenge called The Bitter End. It is a play on words because we're entering the winter months where it's getting a little bit bitter, cold. It is bitter because we are being spiteful. We are making this list, a spite list, if you will, to kind of be like, for every agent that rejects us, here's what we're doing to prove them wrong in some way, shape, or form. This is not like a personalized attack. Let me just be clear. We are not attacking any agents. It's just for us to kind of motivate ourselves to like prove agents, but more importantly ourselves, that like we're gonna keep doing this because we love it and we are going to get somewhere one day. But it is just a challenge to kind of motivate us to finish up all the goals that we had for this year in the last 4 months. So when you're seeing this, it is going to be mid-September, and obviously half of that month is gone. So this is really gonna focus mostly in October, November, and December. But we are going to post this today because maybe you guys will want to join us. There is a shareable link down below for our spite list, the challenge list, if you will, and you can be able to save your own copy and edit it to make your own goals in it. So today I'm just going to tell you about what my goals are for this challenge. And we have very nicely broken them up into a bunch of different sections, and I will post a quick preview of mine in the thing while I'm talking. So I have 8 sections for what I want to accomplish in the next 3.5 months. Some of these I have been working on since September because my goal was to start a new novel, a new project. So some of my brainstorming and everything has been underway. I promise there is a vlog coming out for some of my brainstorming sessions. It's just been a chaotic mess these last 2 weeks. Anyway, so I have 8 sections, and they are a new book, querying, short story submission, reading, social media, horror movies, learning, and research. Now on mine to Zilla's, you can choose whichever form you want. There is my like white kind of clean copy that is easy to print. And then there's Zilla's copy, which is a little bit darker and fits the horror moody theme that you can just use digitally if you don't want to print something out. But research for mine is miscellaneous for Zilla. So we just separated those two. I figured my miscellaneous ended up just being more research stuff. So that's the clarification. And you could, again, take this template and change the categories if you want. The primary goal is to just complete 2 objectives in each category. And we don't have to have the same objectives. So if you are working on a book right now, maybe instead of writing a new book, your goal is to finish your book. Or maybe you want to hit a word count goal, so you want to write 15,000 words in 3 months. Or maybe you want to edit your project or send it to beta readers. You might get the point. This is a customizable challenge. You can add whatever you want, but the goal is to have at least 2 items under each category and complete them by December 31st. So let's talk about what I plan on doing in the next couple months. For starters, I need to finish brainstorming and actually make a tentative outline. I don't need the outline to be perfect, and I don't even need it to be detailed. I am not going to be somebody who is going to have a 47-page outline. That's not going to be me. I really admire people though, and I swear your novels are probably so much easier to write when you do that, but that's not going to be me. I just want a baseline to kind of hit the beats of what I'm going to do, and I do think I am going to use the Save the Cat beat sheets. That worked well for my vampire novel, and I ended up tweaking it and changing it as I went, but I think I'm going to use that beat sheet again and outline my murder, what am I calling it now? The Massacre Mansion. That's what I'm calling it. That's Project Massacre Mansion. So I want to outline that and finish my brainstorm up so that in theory, my second goal, I can start writing a new novel in October and write it for 3 months and finish a first draft. Second goal is querying. So as I've already said a couple times, I am querying right now, and I have been I am posting a little bit on social media, on TikTok and Instagram about my querying journey, but I'm not really gonna do a full deep dive here until like I'm well into it. So for now, my main goal in the next 3 months is to close out any queries that are outstanding. So it may be labeled as closed, no response as my like submission status, because there are some agents that'll say like, if you don't hear from us within 2 weeks, consider it a CNR. Like we don't, it's a rejection. So I do want to clean that up probably in November, because in theory in December, before agents start closing for good for the year, I would like to send maybe 20 more queries out, because then hopefully by then people will start getting back to me after the holidays, and I can see if I need to tweak things in my novel, if I get any bites, if I get an R&R, and it's a, you know, the possibilities are endless when you have 70 queries out in the world. So that's kind of my goal for querying, is just to close out some queries that have been out for a while and send 20 new queries. For my short story submissions, which is going to be interesting when I'm writing a novel and writing short stories, I think I can do it. But I do want to write a whole new story to submit to a specific place. So whether that's something like Havoc, where I will write to a theme and I only have like a month or, you know, a certain window to submit to, something like Havoc or Elegant Lit, anything that has like a crunch window, like that you have to get the theme and you have to write to this theme and then submit it by this date. I might do that, or I may just write a new story and submit it somewhere. I haven't written a new short story in a while. I have been just submitting my short stories I've already written to different magazines, and I have not been accepted to any, so I think maybe it's time to write something new and try coming back to my other short stories later. With that said though, I do want to submit a short story that I've already written again, because I do really love the ones I've written. I think there's a home out there somewhere for them, and I just have to find the right one. So that's my main goals for short stories: write a new one and submit it to theme, and to submit a short story that I've already written to a new place. For reading, the 2 books that I want to read in the quarter, I have always an ongoing like tentative TBR, let's be real. I love to read. But there are 2 books that I am prioritizing because I think they could be possible comps. And that would be Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This just came out. I pre-ordered it. I do have the book. I want to read it as soon as I can. And it is a haunted house, and it possibly is fitting the timeline. I feel like me and Rachel Harrison are like the same person, because our ideas are starting to seem very similar. Like, I comped her vampire book for my vampire book, and now I'm like, am I gonna comp Play Nice for my mansion haunted house thing? Maybe. So Play Nice by Rachel Harrison and The Handyman Method by Nick Cutter. That was a recommended read for me because they thought there was some similarities, so I think I'm going to read that as well. For social media, I am gonna probably back down. So currently in the month of September, I have been doing a reel / post and a TikTok every single day. So Instagram and TikTok, I've been doing a post every day just to see what happens. And so far, nothing crazy is happening. And I think I'm going to end that at the end of September. Like, I'm not going to continue doing every single day in October, but I would like to do a post a week on both platforms. So they could be the same post, they could be a different post, but I need one and one. And just to kind of keep engagement and going with my social media stuff. And then for YouTube, I want to have at least 2 videos every month. I do a wrap up every month, so that's kind of a given. So if I can do 2 additional videos, like a vlog and a sit down, or 2 vlogs or whatever, I would like that to be ideal, but I do need at least 2 videos. I want to watch some horror movies, and I have a big list. I do plan on watching more than just 2, but for this challenge sake, there's 2 movies that I absolutely want to watch. And one is a movie that I have been wanting to watch forever, but I wanted to watch it with my husband and he didn't want to watch it. He wasn't interested. So that is Midsummer, and I think I'm gonna love it, and I want to watch that one like today. So because I've been putting it off, I need to watch this one in the next 3 months. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be off my list. The second one was more recently put out, and that is Bring Her Back, which sounds like it goes into grief and mental health a lot, and again, up my alley. So those are 2 movies. So one that's a little bit older now and one that was recently released. The last 2 sections do kind of go in together. So the first one is like learning or taking courses. I am beta testing another query course. I know, I am obsessed, I guess, with querying, but I was invited to beta test Zara Hoffman, the Inimitable Books publisher, to test their course and see like how things run and if there's any questions and what works well. And so I offered because, again, it's a free spot to learn something, and it also gives me feedback on the stuff that I'm currently doing. So we love that. The second is to participate in another webinar or Q&A. So this could be like a Q&A with a publisher, it could be a Q&A with an agent, it could just be a webinar that I attend, like a free one or a paid one, but something craft related, writing related. If it's horror related, that's even better. I just want to be kept current, and I want to make sure that I am still being in the community as well as the publishing world. And last is research. So things that are a little bit like it's going to be ongoing. Like I can do this research as I am writing my book. And that is to continue watching reality TV from the 2000s, specifically between 2003 and 2005, as my novel takes place in 2004. And I also want to read a horror craft book. Zilla has one that she talked about in her last video. I'll leave that video link down below. Maybe it's going to be that one. Maybe there's a different one. I saw Lindsay Puckett recommended one. So I do think like I'm going to look out to see what horror books work. I have a few other craft books saved in my Amazon, but I don't know if they're horror specific. So I may just pick and choose. But I definitely want to read one as I am going along in this journey. And that is my spite list. That is the Bitter End Q4 challenge. These are all the goals I hope to complete in the next 3/4 months. And yeah, I think we got to get on it because it's a pretty big list. So let me know down below if you guys would like to join us. Again, this is all customizable, so you can make them as easy or as hard as you want. And I will leave all the information in the description so you can download your own copy of the template and get to work. And that is all for me today. So thank you guys so much for joining me today and listening to my rants. I hope you will be joining me in the challenge, and I will be posting my updates and where I'm at with everything as I go until the end of the year. So thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.